Hello, you beautiful Aries person. Welcome to your November 2023 Astro Tarot Scope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign, but if you're only going to watch one, I do advise that you make sure you watch your ascendant sign. It's likely to be the most accurate because I am using whole sign Western tropical astrology, so your ascendant is going to be the most accurate for that day-to-day energy. Remember, they are general readings for every part of the Aries sign, so check it out, see which one speaks to you. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for so much to talk about. As an overview, the theme or the trend for this month for all of us in some way, shape or form seems to be a month of oppositions with a lot of personal realizations. All right, so starting on the, I'm going to pop these to the side because those will be for your lunations. For the first transit that I want to look at is on the 4th of November. Saturn is going to go direct, right? So this is a big deal. It's a big deal because Saturn is it's the last personal planet, but it also represents so much of the tangible things in our reality, right? Now, on the same day that Saturn goes direct, the moon is going to oppose Pluto, and both the moon and Pluto, so moon is going to be in Cancer at like 28 degrees, Pluto is going to be at 28 degrees of Capricorn, and both of those energies facing off in an opposition, but they're also going to create a grand cardinal cross. Now, cardinal energy is all about what is next, what is new, what is driving things forward. Now, the fact that Saturn's going direct on this same day, for me, this feels like an energy or an imprint, like an energy imprint. So Saturn going direct, it takes time to pick up its energy, to pick up its speed, right? But because we've got this powerful opposition with the square to the nodes at the same time, and the nodes are now in Aries and Libra, so this is all cardinal energy. That cardinal cross that's happening, it's kind of like an explosion of energy that pushes that Saturnian energy sort of forward. So it does suggest that, yes, while Saturn's going to take time to speed up, this I actually think creates a very dynamic energy in the background that kind of says, yeah, it usually would take a long time for us to feel this, but we're going to see it sort of more actively. Now for you, this is happening across, so Saturn's in your 12th house, right? Past, privacy, hidden, everything that is in those hidden spaces. But the energies of the moon, Pluto, and the nodes is happening across your first house. That's you, your body, your physical self, your personality, how you sort of navigate through the world. Your 4th house of home, family, property, real estate. Your 7th house of partnership, relationships, communications, marriage, etc. One-to-one alliances as well, and contractual agreements. And your 10th house of career. So your needs at this time are to be with your family, to be in a safe, comfortable space and environment. The moon rules that sign and that space for you, right? The moon rules Cancer anyway, but it rules for you in your chart, the 4th house. This is going to be a palpable need, right? And in an opposition to that Pluto, which is going to be in your 10th house, the feeling here is something possibly around the family situation to do with a mother is very much beyond your control, right? Now, as the ruler of your 8th house, Pluto is asking you to release something about your status, how you show up in the world, maybe even around your career. And it's almost like by accepting that that is happening, it allows you to find strength, right? The moon will square the nodes, and Pluto is and obviously is squaring and is opposed to the moon at the same time, opposed to Pluto at the same time. There's something very fated about this pass, and I dare say that it will probably be a game and possibly a life changer in some way, shape or form. As if that wasn't enough, Saturn, the ruler of your 10th house and your 11th house, goes direct there, right? So it's under a grand cardinal cross energy, which means that the energy comes back with a bang. And because it's, you know, Saturn is in that 12th house space for you, I actually feel this could be a really good time where you see what, like you see a crutch that you have, like a bad habit or a personal thought process, and you're like, you know what, that's really unhealthy and I need to get rid of it now. And maybe you realize that it comes from the family. Maybe it's something that you've inherited as you've kind of grown up, and you kind of say to yourself now, yeah, you know what, that's actually quite unhealthy and it doesn't serve me anymore. So your cards for this are the Three of Wands. So this can be a dynamic push forward that actually brings some luck with the King of Swords. So it's potential that an Aquarius, Gemini or Libra male may have something to do with this. It could just as easily be a message that comes in around work, profession and career that really shunts you forward in some way. And then on top of that, you've got the Five of Swords. So that does suggest that there is possibly a bit of a fight or a battle on your hands in some way. I hope that's not the case, but it is something to consider. On top of that, you have, you know, you've got these energies are happening for you in what we call, you know, the oh my gosh, my brain has gone completely blank. But basically, because of the houses that this square is taking place in for you, it represents you're going to see or feel this stuff on a very sort of grounded, real, material, practical level. All right, so the next transit that I want to look at is on the 12th of November. Mars is going to oppose Uranus. So Mars is in the sign of Scorpio. That's your 8th house of other people's finances, money and resources, joint finances and resources, banking, taxes, big money. It's also the house of taboos, deep psychological makeup, what makes you up, and it's also your fears. And Mars is a release point. Mars is an energy of cutting and severing. So it's trying to shake you up to say, look, this is what you're afraid of. And by releasing that fear, you can actually move forward. So in a way, this could be really great for you. Now, Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. It's been there for about 3.5 years at this point. We've still got another 3-ish years to go. But these two coming into an opposition, this is explosive. The energy of passion and desire and force meets the, you know, that's Mars, meets the unpredictable Lord of Surprise, that's Uranus. There's no getting around this one. It's just a case of watch and see, right? It can be eruptive, and I'm fully expecting some kind of a volcano to erupt. Some kind of seismic activity is going to take place on the world. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this. Also, Uranus and Mars, and this isn't for you personally, I think we're going to see this on the wider world stage, some kind of serious fire, some kind of serious, potentially electrical fire. Now, luckily, this isn't happening in areas of the home or anything for you guys, so you should be fine. But right, because it's across your 2nd house, money, finances, resources, what your personal possessions and values are, this could potentially be an escalation of issues over resources. Mars is you, right? Mars is your ruling planet, and in the sign of Scorpio, Mars has a lot of power, a lot of dignity. It's more of like a slow boil Mars, like underneath the surface. It's very strategic Mars as well. It means that you're going to go head to head with an unpredictable force in some way, shape or form. This is both disruptive and eruptive, and it may very well wreak havoc with the world's resources as well. Financial markets, probably technology. I would say as well, on this day, be very careful with any sort of online purchasing. Don't do it, is my advice to you. Maybe 2 days before, so anywhere from like the 10th to the 14th of November, no online purchases. If there's something you absolutely have to buy because it's essential to life, you know, shopping, food or whatever, then do so. But this is a window to lay low. I gotta be honest, right? Financial markets, probably technology, are going to be haywire at this time. This is a day to be very careful with finances and spending, and also your throat. Be really careful with, like, if you're going out and it's cold where you are, wrap up. Make sure you keep this whole area. Really look after your throat. Eat the ginger. You know, make sure you're getting a good dose of garlic. You know, do all of your herbal remedies, your lotions and potions to really support the throat and the neck around this time. All right, now, be careful with online purchases, like your PIN codes, all of that kind of stuff. Just be very, very mindful about this. And I've got to be honest, that window, the 10th to the 14th of November, is not a time to have serious financial discussions, all right? Just don't do it, especially if there's an element of contention about it, because the chances are it will bubble over, all right? For this, you have the Page of Pentacles. Somewhere this is about money. With the Knight of Swords, that's an argument card, right? And you got this with the Five of Wands, which is a conflict card. This is not a day, right? I've given you the time period. It's not a day to make any big financial transactions. It's definitely not a time to make any sort of rash or hasty moves. And when it comes to your resources and even your possessions, specifically like your vehicle, or maybe like a laptop, something that has a lot to do with your work or your environment, like how you get around, etc. Be mindful about those possessions at this time, all right? The third transit that I want to look at is the Mars Cazimi. This is a big deal. Once every two-ish, I'd say about a year and a half to two-ish years, Mars and the Sun will come together, right? Now, this is a big deal because when a planet goes Cazimi, it comes into contact with the Sun and it's said to be reborn, right? It gives it more power, more energy. It's being infused by that energy. And this is happening in the sign of Scorpio, in your 8th house. This is your ruling planet comes into a full conjunction with the Sun. Light, heat, vitality, energy, authority, power out in the world. Not only is this a new cycle for Mars, because Mars is now being reborn, this is a moment where some kind of decisive or authoritative action that you take when it comes to other people's money, resources, finances, joint finances, when it comes to releasing a personal fear or having some kind of amazing... If a Mercury Cazimi is where we get some sort of brilliant spark of an idea or a realization, a Mars Cazimi is where we take some kind of inspired action. And this for you is happening in that 8th house. This is a powerful energy for you guys, right? This could also be a very powerful personal release of some sort where you let go of something. Mars is a cutting, severing energy, as I said earlier. This could be release of a secret that has been, maybe sees you being very much freed from someone else's financial issues or even karma. So this could be something that comes to an end now that actually frees you in some way. And it might be like a... you know, like, oh, that one just went right through me. Like, oh, my head is all tingly now and everything. But like, it could literally just cut you. Like, you might feel this on a very visceral level. It could also be some kind of sexual escapade that is hot, sweaty, rough, ready, and sexy, right? I mean, gosh, oh, to be an Aries. The Sun rules your 5th house of pleasure and romance and joy. Mars rules your 1st house of the body and the 8th house of sexuality and sensuality. This could also be the end of an affair or the discovery of one, right? Remember, Mars is, this is in the sign of Scorpio, right? The sign of secrets, hidden things, things that happen in spaces that we don't see, that are occulted in some way, which just means hidden or secret. The Sun illuminates, right? So this could literally be that you come into the knowledge that someone's been having an affair. If you've been having an affair, this is likely to come to light at this point. So you got a heads up. Do with it what you will, right? But as I say, another way this could show up is that you end up having some kind of... And if you're partnered or married in a long-term commitment and that's not the case, this could be a time where your sexuality and your sensuality and your sex life comes very much back online, okay? So for this, you've got the Fool card. So something is coming to light with the Two of Cups. Wow. And the Judgment card, right? So look, though, if ever there were cards backing up the astrology, that is it, right? The Fool card with the Two of Cups, that's a new relationship for some of you. Another way that potentially shows out is the revealing, the revelation of a relationship. With the Judgment card, something that has not necessarily been seen, but it could also be the end of something. Remember as well, the Judgment card is a blast from the past. So I wouldn't be surprised if at this time you come into contact with somebody that you dated before. For some of you, this could be the rekindling of a relationship, certainly on that, FWB sort of level. Finally, on the 22nd of November, not finally, we've got 2 more to go. These are going to be slightly longer this month because November is a powerhouse month. On the 22nd of November, Venus is opposing Chiron. This is happening. So Venus is going to be in your 7th house of partnerships, contracts, relationships, significant others. And Chiron is in your 1st house. It's been there for a while. It's going to be there for a little while longer yet. Venus rules your 2nd house of finances and is the rule, and she herself is the ruler of your 7th house as well. Right? So this is contracts. So with an opposition like this, you might come to see where you've sold yourself short. You might come into a realization that it's cost you far more in a certain relationship or a commitment than it's ever given you. And you're kind of like, right, you know what? Now it's time to break this off. Now it's time to move forward and do something new. For this, you've got the Emperor. That's you. Literally, that's your card. With the Ace of Cups. So this is you giving yourself more grace and seeing yourself more clearly from a heart space level, with the Four of Swords, right? So this is you giving yourself a break. Whatever it has given you sleepless nights in terms of a relationship, it comes to an end this month. This is where you kind of say, yeah, you know what? I'm done. This is over. I'm finished with this now. This thing, this person, whatever it might be. And then finally, on the 25th of November, Mars enters Sagittarius. This is a big deal for you specifically because you are Mars ruled. So Mars in Scorpio is at home, but it's a deep rolling boil of energy. That it's a Mars that's strategic and stealthy and even deadly, right? Whereas Mars in Sagittarius is dedicated much more towards what it believes in, you know, doing the right thing. What are the causes that I fight for or I'm attached to? Mars in Sagittarius it really is about like believing in something bigger than yourself. It's about putting your willpower into something that goes beyond you, including a cause of some sort. I actually think that after everything that you've experienced and endured over the month of November, it will be welcome to see this, and you might get really serious about fun, adventure, maybe seeing the world and what life has in store for you. It might also be where some of you initiate legal proceedings of some sort, but it might be where many of you decide that a new course of action that is focused on the future. It's like, what can life be instead of what it is or isn't at this moment in time? And so, you know, another way that you could delve into this is your spiritual or religious beliefs are fueling massive changes for you at this time. For this, you've got the Knight of Cups with the Four of Cups, okay, and the Temperance card. So not only is this snapping you out of a funk, but I actually feel like this is bringing you into a much greater sense of peace on a personal level. And I also feel like it's bringing you into a much more profound sense of alignment. It's kind of going to give you a focus moving forward. I think it's going to really help you understand, like, yes, actually, this is where I want to go. This is how I want things to develop from here on in. It's giving you a sense of clarity, I feel. And there's also going to be an opportunity that shows up for you very much out of the blue at this time to have more fun. And it might even be to travel for a select few of you. All right, so that's your transits. Now let's look at your lunations. All right, so we have the new moon and the full moon, right? My snazzy cards there. So your new moon is going to be in the sign of Scorpio, which for you is in the 8th house. Other people's money, finances, resources, passive income, but it's also big money, banking, taxes. It's also inheritance as well. So some of you might be starting a process like that in some regard. And then you've got the full moon, which will be taking place in the sign of Gemini. All right, so really, just really interesting stuff. So the new moon message is, listen, right? This is about trusting your intuition and really delving deep into what your inner inner self is trying to tell you. Now, with such an emphasis on 8th house stuff going on for you this month, the 8th house is a very psychic energy. Listen to your hunches, listen to your gut feelings and impressions. They will never steer you wrong. And this Gate 13 card does also suggest that this new moon is going to be a very powerful moment for you. All right, like this is because the 8th house is also rebirth, it's regeneration, it's transformation that comes from the depths, right? And that's why Scorpio's energy represents the phoenix. Your full moon in the sign of Gemini, isn't that interesting? That you've got the Gate 56 and Storyteller. So this full moon is really trying to show you how that the knowledge and information that you've gathered over a lifetime not only is relevant to what you're experiencing right now, but it's powerful information that can actually be used moving forward. I actually really love this for you because I think not only is a Gemini full moon a really fun time, and I think we need that after all of the heavy, but I think this is going to be a time where you come to realize, like, shit, I got a lot of information, I got a lot of knowledge, I got a lot of resources that are actually going to waste. And I think that full moon is going to highlight this for you. And because it's in the sign of Gemini, that's your 3rd house. This is going to be fun, flirty, communicative. It's going to be really enjoyable. And it's also going to help you reframe a narrative that you've been telling yourself up until now. And I think all of the transits kind of really back that up. What an awesome dynamic reading for the month of November for you guys. I'm jelly. All right, with that said, my dear Aries, if you want to book your personal Astro Taroscope, you can do that on the link in the description box below. Let's get into it and see what's coming up for you. I'm having lots of fun and super amounts of success with my clients doing this. So if you want to get it, you know where I am. With that said, take care and I'll see you soon.